Do I need to read all of that again, or where it's a continued hearing, it's already been opened?
Exactly, yep.
Okay, so this is for backland lot special permit for Meadow Road, map 4D, parcel 104.
We all set? Valerie, can I share my screen or?
Yes, I'll give you permissions. There you go.
Okay, can everybody see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so Long Hill Road on the left here goes up towards Hudson, and then we have Meadow Road that goes off to the left or to the north. Lot 4 was in front of the planning board back in the springtime. So we have lot 5, which is a backland lot. Also tonight, there'll be lots 6, 7, and 8 in front of you for just A&R endorsement. Lot 5, we have 55.99 feet of frontage, and it goes out to the back here, a total of 5.02 acres. This is going to be served by a shared driveway with lot 6, which is currently in design stage, almost ready to submit to the Conservation Commission. Board of Health plans have been submitted to Neshoba for review and approval.
Okay. So where's the driveway going to be?
Driveway is going to be coming in this area right here where my hand is waving.
Okay, so up on the
Northeast side here. Yep.
Okay. Okay. And I don't see a lot regularity number for lot 5.
Doesn't look like we have one.
Mr. Chair, if I could interject.
Yeah.
I think your bylaw waives lot irregularity coefficient for anything over 4.5 acres in size.
Is that Greg?
It is.
All right.
I'd be surprised at that, but okay. Because the whole point is that is with these backland lots, you're not chewing up, major, big chunks of square footage on the tails. That's exactly what it was prohibited, what it was put in place to prevent. So I'd be surprised if that was the case, since most backland lots are over 4.5 acres anyway.
Yeah, it actually, it's funny. It doesn't preclude it. It doesn't exempt just backland lots. It exempts any lot that's over 4.5 acres in size. I don't have the reference in front of me, but I'm pretty confident that's the case. Anyway, I'm interjecting in Jack's meeting, but it didn't seem like he had the he had that insight. So that's just a for your benefit.
Yeah, I would have to check the bylaws on that. I'd be surprised, since that's what it's geared. I mean, it's what it's really geared towards. But okay, I will take your word for it at the moment.
I'll continue to search the bylaw for that.
Okay.
Yeah, but continue.
Okay, so can you kind of outline what the the driveway and house and septic and such are all going to be?
Septic area is going to be up in the back here, Mark, along with the house. The driveway is going to come in along this left side. There is a vernal pool that's right down in this area that we have to stay away from. So we've redesigned the driveway to come up across where my hand is and then come straight up this way. The house for lot 6 will be in here with the septic out in the front. and then that driveway will come straight up to the back with the house and septic right up in this general area up in here.
Okay. And how's the driveway going to be screened from the abutters?
There is a little bit of a space along this side here that we've kept. If you give me a minute, I can pull up the drawing.
Just while we're waiting here, the bylaw does say that the lot, so a lot larger than 4.5 acres in size would be exempt from the specific lot shape formula. And it does not apply to backland zoning. However, it doesn't say that it doesn't need to be on a plan. So it may be that the chair or the board would like the shape factor to be noted on the plan, though there is an exemption for it.
Okay. Seems a little bit weird. You know, when you have some of the backland lots where you have, 3 acres of tail and you have to fit everything in, but okay. Curious what they were thinking when they did that.
Okay, so it's kind of skewed a little bit. So here's Meadow Road coming up this way. This is the common driveway that we're coming up here. So you've got quite a distance in this area here that is from there to the property line, about 27, 28 feet from the closest grading area. And then again, it cuts across the lot and then comes straight up to the back area. The house is way to the back, septic is up closer to the front, and then this is the house, proposed house for lot 6 with the septic area out along the front tied into the driveway grading. And then we have 2 mini basins down in here to capture any runoff from the driveway on either side.
Okay. So do you know where the abutting house is roughly?
Here's the, I believe it's the Whites, which
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
here.
I know they're here, yeah.
This is their lot right here, but I do not have a location. Could always
Okay.
pull it up on the Google Earth if you'd like.
Yeah, or they can chime in with you roughly. I just want to make sure that we're not, you're not going to have headlights going into their house or anything like that. So
At that point, I don't think so. Only because we are coming straight up that driveway and veering off to the right. And if we're coming down this driveway, we're going to be looking right out across the side of their yard.
okay. 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 Anybody on on the board have any questions, concerns, anything?
Are the sight lines? Are those listed here?
Right on my screen here, we have sight lines. We have 99.6 this way, and we have 159 feet heading back towards the Long Hill intersection.
Okay.
It actually goes a little bit further, 228.
I'm not sure how close our house is to the next lot, but it's not that far.
Okay. Is is your house toward the front of the lot or toward the back, or?
It's set up, but the side of the house that is adjacent to the lot is not that far away.
Okay.
So if I could just pull that up, this is, I know this is only graphic, but it shows their house in this general area here. That driveway would be coming in and coming back on an angle this way. So this is the area, let me slide this back out, of that house would be generally in this area here. Which is-
I think it's a little closer, to be honest.
Okay, but either way, this is, you know, we've got quite an area here that's not being disturbed, except for a well, which would be, you know, a 15-foot wide cut through some of the trees to get in here. I know it's pretty open in there for the most part, but that would be the only disturbance in this area. And again, you've got close to 30 feet along this sideline that won't be touched.
Okay. Eric, Pete, Jim.
I see your well radius is going on to the neighbors area. Do you know where their septic is?
At this point, I do not. I don't believe it's like right along the side of the property. It's either going to be out towards the front or over to the side over here.
It's to the front.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any other questions.
Yeah, I thought the Board of Health made you show that when, if you've got radiuses going on to abutting properties, but, okay. Just to verify where things, you know, that you're not encroaching.
Yep.
Okay. Pete, anything? Jim?
No questions from me, no.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions or comments from the abutters that are present?
Where's our play? Oh, go on.
Okay.
In fact, it's being recorded. Exactly.
So should I close the hearing?
Yeah, I think I'll take a,
I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
okay, roll call.
Pete Driscoll,
Aye.
Eric Neeland,
Aye.
Jim Barr,
Aye.
and Mark Sprague.
Aye. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
So we can review a decision or plan to review a decision at the October 27th
Yep.
meeting.
That's great.
Okay.
Did I hear that you wanted a revised plan showing a lot irregularity or no?
Yeah.
Was that wrong? I don't know.
Valerie?
I think that's up to the board's discretion. As the bylaw says, the lot does not need to conform to the shape factor, but the board may request that it's on the plan itself.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right.
Okay. So that's the only scheduled thing. So I guess let's go back to the administrative part of the meeting, town plans report and various emails.
Yes. I'll start with a bit of a report. I did not put anything up on our meeting packet. The first thing is the master plan public forum is scheduled for this Sunday, October 17th from 2 to 4 p.m. It'll be at the Florence Sawyer cafeteria. We're going to provide a brief presentation kind of covering the purpose of master plans, what the steering committee's vision is, and then a brief existing conditions assessment. The main event at the public forum is going to be this 1 hour period where participants can go to 8 different interactive stations that will help you kind of envision what the Bolton of 2035 might look like in your best case scenario. And it will have you provide feedback related to several different topics such as housing, open space, transportation, and even regional planning. So that should be a good one. We will be planning a handful of other more intensive public forums. This is really the first one to kind of introduce the master plan process and get people visioning. So regarding bonds, with the permission of the board and the town administrator, I sent my questions and planning board members' questions to town council. Those are questions that relate to the ability of the board to pull a bond and the steps the town would need to take afterwards. I have not yet heard back from council, but I will provide that correspondence confidentially to the board when I do hear back.
Great.
I have a few updates on Century Mill Estates. I received confirmation from council that it is acceptable to use certificates of occupancy as a threshold as it's within the decision. So the planning board is allowed to enforce what is on the decision. So the decision of the board to not give further occupancies based on the affordable housing requirement is acceptable. However, one of the emails that I sent you all was the owner of the foreclosed. He purchased 39 Mill Pond when it went into foreclosure. And he has asked for a waiver to provide a certificate of occupancy. You can discuss as you like, but again, it is within your power to withhold those based on the affordable housing requirement. I'll go on if you all don't have any comment there, but I also want to let you know that Andy Benditson has not requested a tax payment plan, and the town will not offer that as an option again. So the question of the ability to put liens on unbuilt units to guarantee that affordable housing payment is questionable. All unbuilt properties in phases 1 and 3 are already in tax title. So just a brief update to the board that I'm continuing to work on those items that were discussed with the applicant at our last meeting, but we're coming up against some walls. So if you want this to be on a future agenda so we can discuss more freely, just let me know.
So can I just ask a question about that? Sorry.
Sure.
So just so I understand, he had like a tax payment plan, didn't he, at one point? But you're saying he didn't follow through with it? And
He never signed it.
Oh, he never signed it. And now the treasurer doesn't want to issue a new one?
It would require, the treasurer feels it would be fiscally irresponsible to continue offering tax payment plans. It requires, working with counsel, so paying counsel, the development of the plan itself. And this has been tried numerous times to no avail. So it is already an option that the town was extremely generous to even offer it once. To offer it multiple times was pretty impressive. And so the town is no longer going to offer that.
And so Andy didn't have any response. He just didn't respond ever.
So other emails that I've forwarded on related to Moderator Way, residents are asking if they may construct a communal mailbox so that they don't need to wait for acceptance of the road in order to actually receive mail near their homes. So I just wanted to kind of throw that at you if that raises any red flags to have the residents construct this at the intersection with Hudson Road. I haven't seen a proposed location on a plan, so I don't understand if it would interrupt any drainage or cause a problem in terms of use of sidewalks. And I also haven't seen any correspondence from the postmaster. But I was wondering if this has happened at previous subdivisions where we have a fully occupied subdivision and it's residents want to begin to receive mail.
Normally by the time it's fully occupied, the developer wants to get out of there, and it's pretty short term issue. I mean, my feeling is, they need to get some feedback from the postmaster to see what he would want to see, and they need to show us kind of on a plan what where it would be, and kind of how it's going to be constructed. It's drainage, it's sidewalks, it's plowing, it's all of those things. We need to make sure it's not gonna cause problems there.
And it would be temporary, right, until the road becomes public, and then, is that correct?
That is my understanding, but it's possible that the residents would, choose to continue. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as it wasn't interrupting any of the drainage or anything, I'd have no problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd want to see it on the plan, and I'd want to make sure that it meets what the postmaster wants. Are they looking at a cluster box, or are they looking at a rail with individual mailboxes, or we don't have enough details to know that?
I don't have those details, no.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we just conceptually, I don't have a problem. I just, want to, we need to get the details fleshed out on it.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So then I was able to speak with Danielle Spicer a little bit about her availability in the next few months. So it sounds like she is excited to remain on the board, but is feeling some guilt or whatnot over not being able to attend meetings. So she is going to be extremely busy likely through December, and may not be able to attend any of the meetings between now and then. So she just would like to know if the board is okay with her absence, or if members would prefer to seek alternate candidates.
I mean, if she still wants to be on the board, I mean, that's fine with me. We have 5, so it definitely puts a strain to get quorums for hearings. But but we have James who's pretty consistent, so that's
Yeah.
good. I mean, if so, in the past, we haven't had any much turnover in a while, but you know, if somebody chooses to leave, we vote to, typically in the past, we've just voted to make the associate a full-time member, and then they would have to run for the remainder of the term of whoever left. And then we can appoint whoever as an associate. So we could technically, she could resign. We could advertise for an associate, have a vote for James to be a full member, and then choose Danielle or somebody else to be the associate. But it sounds like after December, all these issues will be gone. So if we think that we can hold the fort down with the 5 of us, then, you know, we could stay status quo too.
Yeah, and she's got a lot of good experience. I hate to lose, you know, I hate to.
Right, exactly.
Losing her. So if.
Just try to hold it down.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, worst case if she, I don't know what the mechanism would be, but I don't know if she could step, you know, if she wanted to step down to the associate position and, you know, vote James up to the full member or something, you know, or whether she wants to stay, you know, keep the full member and you know, but I mean, I'm okay with her, you know, effectively taking a leave of absence effectively, you know, for a couple months.
Yeah. I'd be
Jen,
fine with that.
Any thoughts?
I mean, Danielle's great, great to have on the board. So, you know, I think she's been, you know, really a valued member and really consistent in the time that I've been on the board, you know, going back 3 or 4 years now. So I think, you know, a few months, you know, see how things go. If she wants to remain on the board, you know, if she figures it's going to continue into next year, then, you know, we revisit. But I think, you know, I mean, we only have, we have another meeting in October, one in November, one in December. I think that's usually what we do. I don't have a calendar in front of me. So, you know, we just have to be vigilant that, you know, we make sure we have enough, you know, attendees.
Yeah.
We'll do that. So, yeah.
I noticed that, I mean, so Mike, he might be like busy with baseball. I don't know if he has baseball on Wednesday nights or something. I haven't seen him in the past couple of meetings, but I assume once baseball's over that he'll be more consistent. So I don't know if is that
He
the
said
reason?
that. Yeah.
So I think we'll be good, you know, in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and like Pete said, I mean, we're really looking at this point 3 more meetings, so I don't think.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Don't do anything.
Yep.
Danielle is an asset. Absolutely. No questions asked.
Right.
Whatever I need to do to help out, no matter what. I'm always
Well,
there.
you're here anyway, so you'll just get to
so
help.
that's what you need to do to help. So okay.
All right. Just a few more items.
Okay.
In the correspondence is also an email from a resident in Lancaster. I've received actually a couple of emails from folks in Lancaster about this warehouse development, smart growth development going on Route 70. So there appears to be an organized group of residents that are very concerned about the project. But if you'd like to know, you know, more about it, feel free to read through that email. So I'm also working with the applicant of a comprehensive permit at 580 Main, the Bolden Office Park project. So they're working on getting in a complete application to the ZBA, and I expect that will be final in the next few days, meaning that their public hearing process will begin in November. So on that note, I've asked the developer of the Mallard Lane comprehensive permit to attend our next planning board meeting, so the board can, you know, review that comprehensive permit and provide comments during that public hearing process, which started back in August. So afterwards, I expect that we'll also be seeing 580 Main come down the line. So Yeah.
Along those lines, is there any way that, I know Danielle can't attend meetings, but is it possible to ask her to review offline and send comments? Because her input is, I don't know if she,
Yeah.
you know, it would be great to get, you know, she's the expert in many
Yeah,
areas that
I'll-
we're not, so.
I'll ask her about that. She's actually, because she's on the design review board, she was at a meeting with that developer
Okay,
for architectural landscaping design. And she was already asking him a bunch of stormwater related questions.
Right,
there.
exactly.
So, but I can, I'll see if she's able to offer any comments outside
Right.
of meetings. Yeah,
that would be
makes
great.
sense. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see here. We have, can't hear, that's the, okay, we have minutes for, let's see, I don't think we have a quorum for the August 11th minutes.
It is okay. I did look into this.
Okay.
It is okay for the board for you to vote on minutes, even if you weren't there,
Okay,
if you're comfortable with that.
okay. So we'll start with the August 11th minutes. Any comments or corrections on them?
I wasn't at those August meetings, so as long as you guys are good with them, I'll vote from Tanks Valley for that. We didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we get a motion on it then? Or do you want to go through all three of them at the same time?
Yeah, just do it all at once.
Okay, yeah. Any questions or comments on the August 16th minutes?
That was the 5-minute meeting, right?
I do my best. And then the September 22nd meeting?
I looked at those, it was good with those.
So it doesn't sound like there's any questions or comments or corrections, so we get a motion for those?
I'll make a motion to approve meetings for August 11th, August 16th, and what was the last date?
September 22nd.
September 22nd.
Second.
Roll call.
Pete Driscoll,
Aye.
Eric Neeland,
Aye.
Jim Barr,
Aye.
and Mark Sprague.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on to, I guess, the Meadow Road A&R plan.
Mhm.
This is discussing the other, is this just discussing lot 5 or is this discussing the other lots as well?
This was lot 6, 7, and 8, I believe.
Okay.
I don't know if Jack still
Yep.
would like to present. Okay, thank you.
Do you want me to throw that back up?
Sure.
Okay, so we have lot 6 here at the far left of the property. And then we have lots 7 and 8 more towards the Long Hill Road side of the property.
Okay.
7 and 8 will be served by a shared driveway as well. And if you can look in the area to the right here, the driveway, this is lot 7, this is lot 8. Meadow Road is up here, so it's kind of turned around. Entranceway is here. We're going to snake around up in here, come up the left side. The driveway for lot 8 is going to come across the top of the septic system to this building. And lot 7's driveway will come straight up into the back area up in here.
Okay.
And lot 6 will be served with the driveway that I showed you at the previous hearing a few minutes ago.
Okay.
So Mark, let me ask a question. I feel like this happened one time before. Say just hypothetically, lots 7 and 8 were sold off to different folks who didn't want a shared driveway, and wanted their own driveway. Is there some way in endorsing this that's part of our decision? This is more of a just question of how this kind of works, because this is basically to create these lots, correct? Is what we'd be voting for.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in the meeting that we had last spring, when we separated out lot 4, it was specifically stated that we don't come back to you guys unless we have shared driveways for the lots on either side of this. So it's not that we're forced to do this, but under other circumstances, this is what we came up with. So 5 and 6, again, we have this driveway over here. There is a vernal pool that we're skirting and staying away from. 7 and 8, we did come into conservation last month with the shared driveway. Basically, it came in and then split in 2 different ways. And after a little bit of deliberation and some more homework on our end, we came up with the design plan that we just showed you. There is a wetland over in this area that crosses underneath Meadow Road and heads more towards the back of Slater's. So we came up with this design and kept everything off to one side and split it off. So.
And so you or your client is going to, build these houses sort of per this plan, rather than, okay, we're just going to sell the lots off to someone else who might not want to do this.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. No, they're being, and I believe Eileen Griffin Wright was on earlier, but the way that she's marketing these is they're both with shared driveways. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Okay. No, thanks. That answers my question.
Valerie, is that part of the A&R decision, or?
For driveways, is that what you mean?
Yeah, for the shared driveway.
No, A&R really only looks at a couple of different things. So ensuring that you have proper frontage, ensuring that you have access from a public way. And then there's a third thing that I always forget, but it relates to ensuring that that the lot meets all local zoning. So there's really not much.
Yeah, I guess I understand, what Pete's asking. Like, okay, I mean, the plan is to do a shared driveway and we split up the lots, but then what if they, we've been burned before. I'm not saying these guys would burn us or anything, but like.
So I think that would come into play more when they apply for the driveway permit. Okay,
so basically, yeah, but what if they did sell it to 2 different owners? We'll say, no, we just want one, and we would only approve this plan, basically.
Well, we'd have to come back before you, and then Mark Sprague would yell at me again like he did last spring. So
he does like to yell.
No, but that's we took that conversation last spring from lot 4, and I know we had a lengthy discussion with the owner of lot 4, and they begged and pleaded with the planning board for the driveway, single driveway for lot 4, and it was granted with the intention that we come back with 2 shared driveways for these 4 lots.
Yeah, I agree that you guys have good intentions. So I was just thinking, just because we've gone through a recent spat of being burned, how do we prevent from being burned?
7:30. What?
I don't know.
It's kind of a question. It's kind of a question for Valerie. Not.
I think with the other conservation issues that we have, I think this is what we're limited to anyway. So we, the best engineering design practice for these two lots is putting them exactly where we have them, and keeping the conservation intrusion to a minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
I
looks
think-
like most of the front of the left lot, whichever that's lot 8,
8.
looks like a lot of that frontage is considered wetland, so that'd be very difficult to get a driveway in there anyway. Okay.
I'm gonna say it kills me with these workarounds with the shared driveways. I'm not 100% sold on some of these things. It's I don't know. It seems like every meeting that we have, it's always a shared driveway, another shared driveway, and I don't know.
And the big thing that it helps with is it reduces the number of curb cuts and the number of places where people are trying to pull out.
Yeah.
So, and in this case, it may actually enable lot 8 to be built, because they may not have frontage that doesn't have wetlands on it. So,
Yeah. It
okay.
seems like to me like this is the way that this town is going, is that there's a lot of shared driveways lately because they have the frontage.
Mhm.
I'm not 100% sold on it. You know what I mean?
What's your preference, individual driveways or common driveways or roads?
It seems to me that there's a lot of acreage in the back part of it, and developers are getting away with, and please don't take this, harshly, that they're getting around the zoning with shared driveways, and I'm not 100% sold on it.
Okay.
What do you mean by getting around the zone? I mean, backland lots and shared driveways are part of the zoning.
I mean, like I have a driveway, you guys probably have a driveway. It's always been like, who's responsible for it? Who is going to be again responsible for plowing? Who is?
I mean, that's their responsibility, shared driveway.
And that's usually captured as part of the deed, or a driveway association or something like that would be set up as part of this to, I mean, it's the same on a common driveway or on a private road. I forget the one right off of 117, the new one. I think it's 5 houses that, it's or 7 houses or something. It's they have an association for the road, basically.
Yeah.
And that's responsible for contracting for plowing, contracting for any maintenance, collecting the money, all that sort of thing. And that's just then how those costs are divvied up is captured as part of the deed.
Yeah, and I'll say, I live on a common driveway with 4 houses, and I kind of see your point to some extent, Jim, because I was very apprehensive, moving to Bolton with that, just not quite knowing, for some of the things that you mentioned, and there is an easement on my property and different things in there that were part of part of that. I will say, it's, luckily I have great neighbors, and, even though some folks have moved in and out, I have great neighbors. So there's no issues, we split the plowing, we share it, but it certainly has the potential to create, problems in different ways, I think. And I'm sure some people face that. I think the advantage though is it does really reduce the number of, roads and impervious area and driveways, and helps maintain the rural characteristic of the town too. So it is a double, it's a two-way kind of thing. And from a planning perspective, when we, from my, when we look at, dividing up a large, lot that, usually is undeveloped or may have one house on it, the thought of, okay, coming in and just putting in, roads and driveways and everywhere. I mean, that long term, from a long-term planning perspective, really could, change the overall characteristics of the town. So I think that's, I always consider it on a case-by-case basis as to, what might be best, and I think in this case, we were initially envisioning this, this division of land here and saying, okay, well, it may be able to be served by, one or two, driveways, and now it's going to be three. Okay, that's still perhaps a little better than, 5 new driveways, although that, to certain people's opinions, it might go the other way. I can certainly see, people wanting to come in and buy property and say, I want my own driveway. I don't want to deal with unknown, neighbors, which, is another thing too. So it is a little tough, from both perspectives.
But I mean, if these are being marketed and designed as shared driveways, people that are looking at it are going to know that's what they're getting into.
Mhm.
So, we can have more discussion about that, and I'm not sure I see I'm not sure I see that they're getting away with anything, but if I think that like lots 5 and 6, right now it's a shared driveway coming in along the edge and going up. With the vernal pool there, lot 5, or something, that's using that backland area, would probably have to come in across an easement on one of the other lots, and then, once it gets past the vernal pool offsets, it would, be able to go up on its own. But I'm not sure that's any better than shared driveway. And if I remember on, lot 6 and when they had lot 7 up, there's a fair amount of clearing that's going on there and grading to get up to where the houses are going to be. So if you're doing that on every lot, it's really going to strip that whole area, pretty severely. Whereas right now it's, there'll be a fair amount of that's kept, that will be kept more natural.
No, I agree. I was just, it seems like in the past 2 years, everything has been a shared driveway, and I have my issues with that, I guess.
Yeah, well, we don't see single lots though. So, I mean, besides A&R plans, but I mean, we don't see single driveway permits. So that's probably why it seems that way. But anyway, so.
Yeah, most of the easy frontage lots have already been built. So,
yeah, right.
Yeah. So it's a lot of backland areas, and it's, or it's developments like Keys Farm or CME or Tadmore, something like that, where they do cut a road in and have driveways off of that. So,
all right, well, I have no more questions. I don't know if there's questions from anybody else.
Jim, any questions on the other A&Rs here?
No, good.
Okay. Valerie, is this coming back for approval, or do we vote on approving these now?
You may vote to approve it now, if you'd like.
Okay. Okay. Anybody want to make a motion on that? and are for lots 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah, so let's see. What was saying, lot 6, 7, and 8? Okay. All right, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of lots 6, 7, and 8 on Meadow Road
With the shared driveways as shown.
with the shared driveway as shown for 6 and 5.
Okay.
I'll second. I'll click Eric's screen. My froze from there.
And all in favor, Pete Driscoll,
Aye.
Eric Nealon,
Aye. Aye.
Mark
Aye.
Sprague,
Aye.
and Jim Barr.
I'm not gonna hold it up.
Did you get my eye? I don't know. If my
I
answer
did,
was
yes.
up or down. I was like, aye.
All right, thank you. Have a great night.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
Okay, so next is the tri-party agreement for affordable housing at Tadmore.
I have not been able to get comment back yet from town council. So
Okay.
I've been working with Bruce Wheeler and his associate at Habitat to think about what the amount of the bond should be based on our metropolitan statistical area. But I have not received comment back on the actual language of the agreement, so I'm unsure how far we can get tonight.
Chairman? Hi, my name is Lou Levine. I represent Habitat, attorney. Habitat is under contract to sell or begin building lots 9 and 11. And I think, as Valerie can attest, we've been in this process for a while. We submitted the proposed tri-party agreement at least a week ago, maybe longer at this point. I don't know. What I would suggest, two things to the board. One, if town counts, if you could vote tonight, if you're inclined to accept the tri-party agreement, subject to town council's revisions, then we don't have to wait necessarily for another meeting. I don't think the developer nor the lender have a great horse in the race as to what the tri-party agreement says, because it's basically equal to a bond, and it's saying, you know, we're agreeing to hold back whatever this agreed number is. So we'd like to move forward, and as a parallel position, because I have no idea when the town council is going to get their comments, and Bruce is really under a lot of pressure to get 9 and 11 under construction. There are 4 lots, 9, 11, 8, and one other lot, 10, right, Bruce?
10.
Yeah, they're not built upon. We have a building permit for 8, but we haven't begun construction on 8. So we're willing to give back or put the building permit on 8 in suspense, in other words, not be able to use it, and ask you a permission to go forward on 9 and 11. You have 2 lots, meaning 8. Again, we'll give the building permit back to the building inspector, and 10 as security. You know, for, I think these numbers that Valerie are looking at are in the $230,000-$40,000 range. So, you know, those lots are definitely worth a lot more to anybody, including, you know, Bruce, than $230,000 or $40,000. So I just would ask the board's, you know, willingness to help us on both, you know, situations. I mean, we could go immediately forward, you know, tomorrow with the building permits for 9 and 11, if you allow us to, you know, hold the security 8 and 10. And in the meantime, if the town council, has revisions, we're gonna go along with them. We're not gonna fight with them. And, we could get that signed, immediately once we have the final.
Just by the
property agreement.
people were more aware of high hazards and unsafe practices where they work, then maybe we
I'm not sure that I have a strong, I'm not sure there's anything magical about holding 9 and 11 versus 8 and 10. So if you want to give us back 8 and we'll hold 8 and 10 and you can do 9 and 11.
That would be great.
I'm not sure there's anything, was there anything specific about 9 and 11 that made the town want those instead of?
No. Bruce, correct me if I'm wrong, it was just the order of construction, right, Bruce?
Yeah, we had in our definitive decision, we have language that we had to bond or provide the affordable unit by the 7th unit.
Okay.
So we would, I think that we would vote to have it be by the 9th unit, and then you would still have 2 homes, 2 lots left, or by the 10th unit. I'm sorry, by the 10th unit, then you would have the 10th and 11th lot that were encumbered until we have the tri-party agreement signed.
And it's a tri-party agreement. If Valerie gets us a tri-party agreement, whatever, from town council, we'll forthwith get it executed. Again, we don't have any, we're not going to negotiate the tri-party agreement, because as long as it basically says whatever Valerie and the board's number is, that the bank, is obligated to hold it, we're just going to sign it. And if we get that tomorrow, you'll have it tomorrow, and maybe this is meaningless, but I doubt it's going to happen.
Valerie, is there any downside to letting him go ahead and hold the other 2 lots?
Can I just ask for a clarification? Yep. So I'm trying to pull up the definitive subdivision approval. But you were saying that this would essentially mean that rather than holding back building permits based on the 8th, or holding back something based on the 8th building permit, that we would instead alter that to the 10th? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm suggesting.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, that's up to the board's discretion. Yeah.
But it sounds like basically they're bonding the fee in lieu of, right? I mean, that's what this is all about. So am I wrong?
Right. So the fee in lieu is intended to be provided or bonded by the issuance of the 7th building permit. So
right now we're updating that tri-party agreement to push it off.
No,
the definitive subdivision.
We're providing the tri-party agreement in lieu of a bond. And we provided the tri-party agreement. We have the banks sent to it, but we haven't. We don't have town council's comments. That's the only thing that's holding it up right now. And it's been out there for a while. I'm not gonna. I just want to move forward. And as I said, we don't have any objection to any language changes to the tri-party agreement. The basic obligation is to provide a certain amount of money if the developer, defaults.
Yeah. So basically, my question is, the money is bonded, the fee in lieu of is bonded. So the town would get that if, right? Is that correct?
Under the tri-party agreement, correct.
Yeah.
it will be bonded once we have that signed. So essentially in the past, the board has, I believe the board provided prior to my tenure here, provided leniency with the having that fee paid prior to the 7th building permit, and instead the board decided it would be on the 8th. So what Bruce and Lou are saying is that we have actually provided, we have already provided 8, and instead of using those to construct lots 8 and 10. We're going to hold those ones back and provide lots 9 and 11. Is that what the suggestion is?
Yes. Correct, Bruce? That's correct. But we will continue forthwith as soon as we hear from Valerie or town council to immediately provide you the tri-party agreement once you get your comments or revisions or whatever.
Okay. And I think in this case where Bruce has some other business that he wants to do, I don't think he's gonna shaft us on this, so. I think, I think, you know, and I don't know how busy town council is these days, but I think it's, you know, I know we've dumped a bunch of stuff on him, so he's probably got his hands full. So I'm okay with the change. I don't know, you know, Eric, Pete, Jim, anything concerns? Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get hung out to dry on getting the affordable here, so.
Yeah, I'm all set.
Would that require a modification of a minor modification to the permit? Is that something that was done the last time when the board provided leniency on that 7th building permit and instead pushed it to the 8th building permit?
I think it was an oversight, the 7th.
Okay.
I don't think there was I think we never used it. So I think it was intended to be the 7th, and the 8th just it was inadvertent, and
So what is I'm trying to wonder, you know, what the downside is for the board to, one option I think the board has is to say that they don't want to change the number of building permits that have been granted so far. But, you know, they may agree to allow like us to continue working on the tri-party agreement with council. Is that a workable option?
we're asking for you to change the number of units. So we're looking to pull 2 additional building permits. We're holding one that we don't need, so we would give that back. That would give you 2 lots to hold, which is more than enough security until the tri-party agreement is in place, which I expect would happen at the next meeting.
Again, we can put the tri-party agreement in place before the next meeting. The board indicates that subject to town council's review and acceptance. We'll sign it if we have it tomorrow. We'd sign it tonight. We just can't do it. And I'm not gonna, town council is busy or whatever, but that's one of the problems that developers encounter in Massachusetts. We go from meeting to meeting waiting for town council to be able to do something. And so I think we're just asking the board to be reasonable. I think as the chairman indicated, Bruce is not leaving town on the next bus, okay? All right, we have 2 more lots here. We have to get occupancy permits on the lots that we're building. And Bruce is going to discuss with you a large project and a potential rezoning in the next couple of minutes. So the last thing we want to do is in any way
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
Peter, Jim, any?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. In this case, this subdivision has been pretty smooth. So, that definitely goes a long way. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
So we just need to, what do we need to do? Make a motion to approve the amended tri-party agreement?
I would ask,
We're not amending the tri-party agreement, it'd be amending, it would be a minor modification to the special permit for the subdivision. Basically,
respectfully,
to allow us to issue 9 building permits instead of, before we get the affordable instead, or 10.
Yeah, I'm
Issue
sorry,
10.
no, not, yeah, so the bond has to be in place before the 10th building permit to have the language consistent, so it moved from the 7th to the 10th.
So I'm not sure that we've even noticed this topic properly then on the agenda. I'm sorry to throw that in there. But to discuss a minor modification of a special permit, wasn't something on the agenda. I don't know if the chair or the board feels it's acceptable. Just wanted to point that out.
I mean, my opinion, maybe it wasn't worded right, but I think it's the same intent, so. Again, Tidemore's been good to work with, so. I mean, as long as legally we can go forward with it, I'm fine with it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure on the, I can't imagine anybody have an issue with it, but and if I told you, Bruce, if I told you that you could swap the building permit for 8 for either 9 or 11, would that get you moving for the next couple of weeks?
Well, I have 2 of them that I really need to move forward on.
Okay.
So if the board approves an amended tri-party agreement or a tri-party agreement that is to the satisfaction of town council, if we're able to do that in the next few days or the next week without altering the number of building permits granted, I feel like the number of building permits is kind of a moot point at that, if we are able to move forward with this agreement quickly.
I agree, Valerie, except, we need to have an alternative position. And I don't want to be, even ask you or the board to be, screaming at town council. So as I said to you, and I'll repeat it again, if you tell us tomorrow this agreement's okay, or town council made these revisions, we will get you the tri-party agreement immediately. Once we, okay, and you can put that in the minutes, and we're not gonna, we haven't. Again, if I knew it was tomorrow morning, I wouldn't bother the board, or Bruce wouldn't be bothering the board. Correct, Bruce, with the other permits. But we don't know that, and I don't want to, I don't want to be screaming at town council over this.
Jim is frozen. Or he's just very, very still. No, there he is. Any comments, Jim, or?
No.
Okay. So what's the sense of the board? Do we need to force this to the next meeting to notify, to notice it properly on the agenda, or is the feeling that this is an okay minor modification to issue the net of 1 more building permit than what's already issued?
I think it's fine. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, what could happen? Someone could have a problem with it and appeal our decision. Is that the worst case scenario?
Yeah, or if an abutter or resident had a concern or would have wanted to be notified, but I'm being a little bit nitpicky. I recognize that.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's okay that, just wanted to note that. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm good. We haven't had any problem with Tadmore. So
Yeah. Yeah, and where we know there's other stuff coming up from that team, if they if they put simply, if they screw us here, then it's not going to go well long term. So
yeah, I agree with Mark.
Bruce is laughing, so he knows that too. So okay, I guess take a motion to allow the building permits for 9 and 11 and the return of the building permit for lot 8. And then once we get the feedback from town council, and we'll go from there.
So move.
That's cheating.
Second.
Okay, your roll call.
Yes. Eric Nealand,
Aye.
Pete Driscoll,
Aye.
Jim Barr,
All right.
and Mark Sprague.
I okay. So I guess next is the concept plans for Still River Commons, parcel 6B3. So who's running the document?
Greg, do you want to start us off? And thank you for approving that. I really appreciate it. And Greg's gonna start with a little overview here. I also have Larry Reeves present from Reeves Design, who did the architectural design for the building, and Tom Miner is here from Hawk Design, who did the landscape architectural plan. And we'll do very brief. We're just going to do a brief sharing of plans and information after Greg does an overview.
Thanks, Bruce, and thanks. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Greg Roy with Dillison Roy, I appreciate your time this evening. I'm going to be brief, but just wanted to give you a quick introduction as to why we're here. So we were before you about a month ago, and we presented the project at that point, and you were kind enough to give us some agenda time this evening for furthering this discussion. And in a minute, is it appropriate for me to share my screen, Valerie? Can I do that, or okay?
Yes, you should be able to.
So we're of course proposing a mixed-use development right next to the Tadmore subdivision property in the land that's zoned business, right behind the highway barn. And we're proposing a mixed residential use with a commercial component. And we were before you a month ago to kind of discuss some of our thought processes with relative to the commercial component. And you gave us some great and valuable feedback during that process. One of the thing that needs to occur on this land in order to enable the mixed use development to occur would be a change or modification to the zoning on the property. So the underlying zoning, being business, does not allow the residential component to progress. So we've reviewed our project relative to the existing mixed-use village overlay district provisions, and we believe that we can use those provisions that are already drafted, that I know your board and lots of other stakeholders in town put a lot of work into drafting. We believe we can utilize those provisions to proceed with a special permit on the subject parcel for the permitting of the proposed development. So in addition to giving you an update, which we'll do with some architectural renderings and some further advancement of landscape plans, I wanted to, and I think the team wanted to formally ask you if you would be willing to support the inclusion of this area of town in the village overlay, mixed-use village overlay district. And I've actually put together a quick exhibit that kind of helps frame this discussion. So I'll share my screen if that's acceptable, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, can you all see that image?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I did this this afternoon, so I apologize if it's a little bit hard to read, but the 117, of course, is right here shown in yellow. The high school is right in this location. Green Road comes across right across from Forbush Mill in this area. The highway barn, I can't zoom in for some reason, so I apologize. But the highway barn is right in this area here, and the parcel that we're talking about is this sort of L-shaped parcel that has frontage on Forbush and 117 and surrounds the highway barn. And one of the things I think we heard a month ago was that if the town was looking to add this area as part of the overlay district, that perhaps it might make sense to look at a few other parcels for inclusion in the zone. And we think that, so I put together this exhibit in that spirit. So you can see here that I included the highway barn portion, not knowing what the future of that parcel is, but it seems like it would be, if we're going to rezone a certain part of this area, that it would be remiss to exclude that. And there's also some commercial uses across Forbush Mill where the package store is. It has quite a significant chunk of land, which I know that owner is also exploring, what to do with that property, as well as the pizza shop and the realty office and the post office building. So we've shown sort of those 5 parcels as a possible overlay district boundary for your board's consideration. Of course, that final determination would be up to your board, but we wanted to put the work in to try to spur that conversation along, I guess, so to speak. So, we think this area has a good opportunity. We of course think that our site is a great site for the proposed mixed use, and that perhaps these other, this sort of corner of town that's formed here, there's good potential for that type of development in this area. So, so I just wanted to present that to the board, and I know that Bruce and a couple of other members of the team want to roll through and kind of show you the work we've done on the advancement of some of the building elevations and the site plan as well. So I'm sure there's opportunities to take questions. Happy to do that now for you, but I thought I'd just turn it back over to Bruce or whoever he will delegate to give the next portion. And Bruce, I'm happy to share my screen. I have the next figures.
Can I just ask some questions about this first of all?
Absolutely.
It would be great to see the mixed use village overlay get used, first of all. And if there was any way to get more business, that would be good as well. Is there no opportunity for the main lot in question to be all business? Does it only work as mixed use, or have you had any thoughts of making it splitting it and having a business on Forbush and a business on 117? Or
did you want to answer that, Bruce? Yep.
Yeah, so I think it's the highest use right now is for active adult, for an active adult community. There's a very significant demand for that, and I think that there is some demand for retail, but it's not significant. It's really not significant, and it's not what I would call a really robust market, but there's enough demand for that to be a piece of the development. But we see the most vibrant use being the combination of an active adult community and 5,000 square feet retail center.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the idea of zoning this whole district, because I mean, I do feel like it should all be, looked at and put together as a entire district within Bolton. So, and at least you wouldn't be dealing with spot zoning just to do one area. So.
Yeah, and I know, Greg, you just put this together this afternoon, but I'd like to, make sure we reach out to the owners of these lots to make sure that they're on board with the, with the zoning change.
Yeah, I mean, it is an overlay, so the existing zoning is still intact. It's just
it is an overlay. People can get weird about zoning. So
Yeah, well,
as we've seen. So I think just ensuring that that they're on board with I'd hate to get to public hearings or town meeting and have the owners of some of these parcels stand up and say, yeah, I don't really like this.
Yeah. We'll reach out to all the properties in this.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, and I just want to, because somebody mentioned the word spot zoning. This is an overlay district, and it's a substantial area.
Well, no, I was just saying if we just did like say your lot.
Oh yeah, no, I would agree. That would maybe unbalance the equation, so it's there. But in this configuration, and generally since I think 1973, the Supreme Court has said they're not really concerned about spot zoning. I mean, so the case Kroll versus Leominster. So, but in any event, applying an overlay district in particular is not spot zoning, and this area, in as large it is and the number of parcels, would never, in my opinion, raise any issues of spot zoning. And I think as you guys.
I think if we were just doing the Still River Common parcel, there are definitely people in town who, rightly or wrongly, would bring up the concern of spot zoning.
I agree.
And it becomes a buzzword and takes on a life of its own. So, if we have 4 or 5 parcels like this, and they're all bought into it, then
that's my point.
Discussion goes away.
Thank you.
So, I think, I think if we can get even even the one along Farbush Mill, who owns that? I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Frank Chiodo.
Yeah, even if it was that one lot, I think land wise and frontage wise and such, I think that's that'd make a good argument for it. So I think if we can get some buy-in from the owners there, I think that would be take that whole part of the discussion off the table and would simplify all of this.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's fair. We can certainly reach out. Appreciate that comment.
Yep. Okay.
So I don't want to cut off anybody that has any questions for more questions on that, but we have a couple of other things to show you if that's acceptable.
Okay.
Bruce, I'll go over to the landscaping plan now, if you want.
Yeah, that would be great. I'll just, I'm gonna do a little overview and then have Tom Minor fill in. So the plan is showing a 47 unit active adult building in the middle of the site. It has access off of Bush Mill Road and off of Main Street. In the front of the development, we have well, to the left, we have a commons area with the gazebo. It's sort of a park area that seems like a nice connection from the school back to this parcel and tying into the retail center as well. And so to the right of the commons area, we have a 5,000 square foot commercial space, and we're communicating with a variety of potential users, but haven't really solidified anything at this point. But we think it's a nice location for a small retail center. We feel like there's massive demand for the active adult housing, and this would bring a lot of vibrancy to this corner of town. And as well, we're interested in participating in the redevelopment or potential redevelopment of the intersection, whether it be lighting or a rotary. There's been some concepts that are discussed that we'd be interested in financially participating in as well. Tom Minor put this plan together. Tom, do you want to add a little description to the plan?
Yeah, this is just our initial ideas for this plan from what the basic engineering and architecture that we were given. Typically, we use predominantly native and non-native, native and improved native plant material. And where we need to, we'll use some non-invasive plant material that's more drought tolerant, that's acceptable and can deal with this microclimate. You can't see the plant list, but the plant list is what we typically use for native materials, and the sizes will match, will meet the town requirements. If you go back to the plan, Bruce.
Yeah.
The olive green are some areas where we could save some trees potentially, without any grading or final design. These are just estimates. The larger, lighter green trees are deciduous trees. Again, mostly native trees. They provide some scale and some shade. The smaller, darker green trees are evergreen trees for screening and perhaps some specimen trees here and there, or just winter foliage. And the lavender trees are smaller, growing, flowering trees that will provide visual interest and fruiting for wildlife. Around the base of the buildings, we just have the same mixture of evergreen deciduous shrubs, native where possible and where appropriate, to soften the buildings and bring it down to the ground plane. The large green green island in front of between the building and between the apartments and the commercial. There's subsurface utilities in there, so we'll have to work and see what we can do with that large island right there. Typically, we can do some shallow planting, but no trees or large shrubs. In the back, we have a function patio for the residences and a garden walk. Again, these are just conceptual ideas. The final design will progress as we move on. And finally, lighting is usually a mix of pole mounted site fixtures and bollard lights for patios and walks. Shielded where necessary to eliminate light trespass to the neighbors and into the sky. And that's a quick overview.
Thanks, Tom. That's great.
At one point, you guys were saying that potentially the first floor near the common area would be retail. Is that still a potential or not?
Well, we had a discussion at the last meeting about we were originally looking at a Dunkin' Donuts standalone building in the front, and in the 5,000 square feet of commercial space in the first floor of this building. And the feedback that we were getting was a concern for the Dunkin' Donuts being falling into a fast food and not being an accessory. Our question was, would you folks look at the Dunkin' Donuts standalone building as accessory to the active adult building? Is we didn't want to move down the road and really be out of sync with you folks on that. And I think that the feedback that we were getting was that it wouldn't be considered an accessory, and thus it would be fast food use and not allowable. So at that point, we pulled the commercial space out of the building and into the sort of the front area of where the Dunkin' Donuts was.
Okay. Are you thinking that would be like a multi-tenant commercial space?
Would be. Yeah, it definitely would be.
Eric, unless you want to try to revisit the fast food bylaw this town meeting.
Oh, please. I don't know. I've had my fights in the past, but
revisit fast food and revisit drive-throughs.
I think actually drive-through, I mean, it's way off topic, but in the new climate, in the new climate, I bet you drive-throughs in certain zones might be a potential, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell what people would. Okay.
So we have one other plan that we'd like to show you if that's appropriate here. Bruce, are you ready to?
Yeah, if you could put that up, that'd be great. This is a watercolor perspective of the view from the street of the active adult building, and Larry Reeves did the design and is using a lot of historic features that in the things that concepts that he's seen in Bolton, and I'll let him just do a really brief overview of the building and the architecture.
Hi, well, yeah, I'm Larry, the talking head of the moment here. Just we, as a little bit of a background, Bruce came to me with this. The first question he had was how would you do the character? How do you see Bolton, and what kind of a building would you put in? So it happens I spend quite a bit of time on my my bike rides. A couple days a week. I'm in Bolton, either through or within there, so I have a good sense of the character, and especially along Main Street, there are a lot of truly fine new buildings and historic homes and buildings and businesses that have been renovated over the years. There's quite a renaissance here of restoration and sprucing up and all the fun things in town. Looking around, what was really clear is that there are not a lot of big buildings in Bolton. This is a big building, so we really needed to take a look at it as more as an assemblage of historic components. We'll put it that way. I'm not going to try to hide the fact that it's a big building, but our goal here was to really reflect much more the kind of the colonial and residential nature of Bolton. So I did use sort of a mix of kind of a federal and Georgian colonial imagery to pull things together, and it's broken up with porches. We've tried to keep the majority of the roof lines and material breaks at kind of a 2.5 story level, to keep the scale down. And I think the landscaping does have a huge impact for us. Tree placements and all of that, helps to also reinforce this as more of a sense of a townhouse type feel to it, as opposed to just a large building. So I think that was really our biggest goal here, and I think the target market being the active adult community. The imagery is also a strong one for that from a marketing standpoint. So
yeah,
a nice anchor. So
yeah, I think this looks great. I know that you definitely covered many of the features that the design review board would ask for, with the different roof lines and the siding, just so it's not a square box. I mean, to me it looks great. I would say if we do go forward with a mixed use overlay, the town definitely, when they vote for things, would, the more information you get the town about what potentially could go there. Things that have failed in the past is because we've tried to pass a bylaw that, doesn't have really any details behind it, like what could potentially fill into that. So, I mean, if you guys were to present along with that bylaw, if we were to do it, I think, showing this would probably go a long way for people to understand what potentially could go there. I mean, this is a pretty nice rendering.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that was our intention for coming at you with these level plans, was for the board, but I guess for the town at large, to know that this applicant is truly serious about this, putting a lot of thought into it for sure. And I think it's a good opportunity for the diversity in housing that it would produce, and the mixed, the mixed use.
And same thing with the retail space. If you could, follow this type of design,
Yeah.
with the different roof lines and stuff, make it more of an interesting building. Like Clinton Savings Bank is a really good example of a new business fitting into the character of town. I mean, it fits right in with, I mean, right across the street you have Bolton Capital, and which is a great use of the building and the architecture and stuff. But yeah. I mean, the bank across the street kind of fits in,
Yes, it is very nice.
Yeah, I mean, this looks good. I mean, I'm sure Design Review Board will have comments for it.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen there's a set of townhouses on in Hudson on Manning Street, right at Cox. Yeah, it's basically like 14 units with a flat face and straight roof line the whole length.
Yeah,
And it just looks.
yeah, it's pretty special.
Yeah, that's one word for it. Yeah. If you want to see what not to do, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, but definitely,
No,
definitely having this picture would,
Yeah.
make it easier to get through town meeting.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing in many of our 495 communities is the development of a very attractive, centrally located or town center active adult community has been had tons of success. It's there's a massive need for this product in the centers of the towns, in the centrally located areas, and that's where you get sort of the community building in the downtown, so people are close to really close to the center and can enjoy all that that it has to offer.
I mean, it would be great with, Frank Chiodo's land and the other land, if, this whole area could be developed. I mean, even to take it a step further, I mean, maybe we could have a topic later about this is, I've always wanted to move the DPW, to some town land, but yeah, it would be awesome if we could do that. But I think this looks great.
I did have a conversation with the DPW director, and he expressed that he was open to it as well.
Yeah, with this definitely town-owned land near 495. So I think that would be a great place, and then the town could sell this land to a developer. And this whole corner, this, a potential rotary coming in, this whole corner could be really a second center of town, or it makes probably even more sense for this to be like the commerce center of town, and the town center, where the common is more residential, it's a couple of small businesses, but
you have the school, so it sort of functions as a
right
that way
A
now.
real activity center.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
exactly.
Major activity center for the town.
Right.
already.
Exactly.
So I think if I could just interject a few thoughts as well. I really appreciate the marriage of housing and community development and economic development, and it's obviously a goal of the board. Looking at the rationale and the intention of the creation of the mixed use village overlay. I have hesitation, and that is that this of course puts the board in a bit of a reactive position, and rather than having the opportunity for the board to consider a zoning audit or a zoning study of the business district as a whole, or the mixed use village overlay as a whole, and considering a comprehensive plan for these districts, we're still kind of stuck in this reactionary zone. This is something that the EDC and the Master Plan Steering Committee is aware of and is interested in, thinking about what would a zoning study look like of the full business district, so that we can begin to plan town-wide, rather than development by development. I want to, remind members that, this is a plan for one parcel. There are many other parcels within that overlay district. So moving a district or expanding a district, creating a second center is a large idea that would need further study. So I think the board should consider questions such as, what further data do we need in order to consider a rezoning process, knowing that the overlay is not restricted to age restricted developments. What is the demand in the area for these deed restricted units versus age targeted housing? What does Bolton look like in 30 or 50 years when the demographics are changing, yet we have age restrictions in deeds? So, I'm thinking it's certainly, again, very helpful to consider housing and economic development together. Though, in my position as a planner, I'm considering, what further data do we need in order to know that we have a good sized business district, or that we have right sized the business district. So I'm hopeful that the master plan process is able to look into that, in the next few months here, and really do a thorough assessment of what is currently within the districts that we have.
Okay. Your toughest job is going to be slowing Eric down. So.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not really slowing me down. I mean,
Yeah.
we created this village overlay for this exact purpose.
Yeah. And at the time, this was not an area that was considered, is a good match for it. So.
Well, we definitely talked about this area for sure. We decided just to go around 495 in the end. But we divided out that land from Tadmore for a reason. I agree. We definitely need to understand the overall picture. But
yeah.
Sharon, the only thought I would advance is we've come to realize that active adult communities, neighborhoods, what they also do for the community, like Bolton, is they provide people that are over 55 an area to live in, to be able to, but they want to stay in Bolton. So whether it's Bolton or any other community, their choices many times are stay in their home, which they don't really want to stay in, or leave the town, go somewhere else, which they don't want to do. Their friends, their family, their church, their social ties are all in Bolton or in that area. So a project of this size, 47 units, will provide people in Bolton that the ability to stay in Bolton, but it also provides, which is really my point that I was kind of roundabout here, it frees up single family homes for sale. They get put on the market, younger couples move in, there's a transition over time. And we've seen that in most of the communities, near you. When the active adult community comes in, the people, have a place to go. And the other alternative, is just that they have to leave town, or they have to stay in the house a lot longer than they want to do. So, we do have a housing crisis in Massachusetts. This is way. Go ahead.
On the deed restriction, do you feel like it's more marketable to restrict it to over 55? Because I think what we studied in the past was that these type of developments typically don't trend towards families. They're either new, people out of school, younger people, or over 55. So are you doing the over 55, for us, or do you feel it's more marketable for you?
Bruce?
Well, there's a couple of points. The deed restriction then it provides, there ends up being less children, and it's more of a revenue producing property for the community. Having no restriction makes the property more marketable for us, but our parcel is limited in sewage capacity, and would be, we would be able to create less density without the age restriction than with the age restriction, because the age restriction has less flow per unit. So those are all the dynamics rolled into one to consider. It's the units are more marketable without the restriction. It's more of a positive revenue flow for the town, because we don't have kids, children in the development. But we would be we would have less units without the age restriction because of the sewage capacity.
Yeah, like Farley said, understanding what type of housing we need. I mean, and I know we have the 40B coming in, which is unrestricted. But yeah, definitely the bigger picture needs to be looked at there.
Yeah.
I think what we have, like I said, what we have seen in the past is that, like, if you look at other kind of types of unit housing like this, it trends towards you don't have as many kids 5 to 18 in here. It's a very low percentage.
Yeah. Okay, I think probably to our next meetings, we should go through and review the overall review the mixed use overlay and understand what parcels are in it and not, and which ones have been developed out from under the overlay and things like that. So we'll just add that as a discussion in a,
I'm sorry, Mike. I had a quick question. Where would the DPW go? What's the plan for them?
Well, right now, I mean, they've got the corner there with the building and the barn. I'm a little surprised that they would think about, that they would entertain moving, where the salt and sand are at the transfer station, unless they're going to move all of that along with them. But
I mean, much bigger picture question.
Well, yeah, but right now they do, they're retaining, the town still has that corner, where the existing area is. I think Greg's comment was, kind of, if we're rezoning the whole thing, or this general area, we should just add that to the overlay in the eventuality that in case at some point the town does move the barn, it's already part of the overlay and can be developed as such, as opposed to just being in business or I assume it's right now. I assume it's currently in the business district.
Yep.
Even as town land. So
yeah, I mean, it could add potential value back to the town in the event that they, if you included it, in the event that the DPW was relocated in the future. I mean, probably the reason why the sand and salt aren't at the DPW building is because they don't have space. They don't have space for it on site, I'm guessing.
Right.
Probably, yeah.
But and they have a convenient spot, quarter mile down the road. But but our thought was, including that area in the district could potentially provide a value to the town if there's probably lots of scenarios that could happen on that land. But one of them certainly would be what Eric suggested, and DPW relocates, and then the town has flexibility with putting that property up for sale, and then presumably with more flexible zoning options on the property, that it would bring more value to the town. So the town could benefit from the rezoning as well directly.
Yeah. Okay.
So what, we'll certainly reach out to as you suggested, reach out to the parcels we're suggesting on the sketch there. What else should we be, we want to participate in this, and what else should we be doing as far, or what do you see as the next steps, I guess, for
Valerie, what on the master plan steering committee, do they talk to individual owners of land? Would I don't know if it's proper or not for them to present this to them, or if they're looking more in general at things, and they're not looking at specifics, or.
Bruce,
Yeah,
that's
I
where
mean-
we stopped, we went, I'm sorry, Val, we went to that board, correct,
Yeah.
Bruce?
So Eric, we started
okay.
with them, and I left it with them that we as soon as I had the architecturals for the building, I'd schedule on the next meeting. So we really just 2 weeks ago finished the architecturals and got them to you guys just a week before this meeting. So I'm going to reach out to the master planning steering committee, share the architecturals, and get on their agenda to as a follow-up to the first meeting that we had.
I think that would be great to get more people involved in the process.
Yeah, I mean, again, it isn't going to be one group that votes it up or votes it down, and we're just looking at one parcel and one proposed development. So,
yeah, but sometimes if you have a good development in front of you that makes sense for the town, this is a type of development that the town is looking for, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So,
it could be a
I also don't think, I hate to get mired into years and years of process. I understand what you're saying, Valerie, completely. We should understand the bigger picture. But sometimes if you have a good development in front of you, that is what, I feel like this is it adds housing diversity. It adds some retail, which is the reason why we split, some commercial, which is why we split out that property in the first place. Sometimes you have to you could pass on something and then the land just sits there for years, I don't know. I understand both sides of it.
I think it's fairly low effort to spend a few minutes reviewing, everything that's currently in the overlay and if there are some proposed uses on some of it, understanding what those are and how those fit into the goals or not. And then looking at how this fits in and the other parcels, location wise and such, whether those, really advance things for the town or not. But I mean, I think that's for, it should not be a long drawn out process. I think we can
I also don't think that the planning board should be shut down for 2 years while there's master planning going on. I believe we can work in parallel. I don't feel like it's a serial process.
Yeah.
Well, I think you have a developer that is really interested in participating in the process, and if there's things that you find helpful by way of homework, let us know. We can.
So we're gonna design the concept plan for the retail center next, and we're going to want to share that with you, and we're going to communicate with the abutters. When's the next your next planning board meeting?
October 27th.
27th.
Okay, so then when's the November meeting?
Let me take a look. Yeah, it might be good if the board wanted to reserve the 27th to discuss zoning generally.
Yeah.
And then the November meeting is November 10th.
Okay, I think it would be, I think it would be great for us to get on the November 10th meeting. We'll do some work on the retail concepts, speak to the abutters, and then give you guys a chance to speak amongst yourselves about sort of big picture zoning, and we'll interact with the master planning steering committee.
Yeah.
And it'd be great to come back on the 10th and have a continued discussion.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds
well,
great. The next master plan steering committee meeting is on the 28th. If you wanted to have, a similar conversation with that group.
The 28th of October?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So I forget who I scheduled it with Erica originally. So would I do the scheduling with you?
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, fantastic. All right, so here we are. So I'd love to get on that agenda.
Okay.
One-stop shopping.
Yeah.
Yep. That's great.
All right, super.
Okay.
We really appreciate, I know you've had a long agenda already, and we appreciate you giving us the time that you did. So thank you for that. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks everyone for your time.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate your help with regard to the timing of those building permits. That was really thoughtful and helpful to me. And
Got it.
I'll talk to you all soon.
Great, thanks.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay,
night.
thanks.
That's all.
Good night. Okay, let's see here.
Is it midnight? I said, is it midnight?
It's only 9:30. Come on, toughen up. Okay, Holton Farm Common Drive, we're waiting for feedback from Niche. Okay.
You still
Is
haven't
that
got
right?
back to you, huh?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah, I assumed that you hadn't either, but
Well, he got
I-
back to me and said he was going to go out to the site the next day. That was like last week.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
sorry.
Can you-
I'm sorry to have you wait for so long, but
Yeah, can you just poke them and let them, I'm not sure how much money it is, but it's it'd be good to get it cleaned up and out of the way.
Well, can I
Yeah.
ask, can I ask about that? I think that there's actually a considerable bond, like over $200,000. But that
Yes,
included that included the road, which has now been accepted by the town. And I think the deeds have been transferred and accepted by the town and everything. So if in the interim here, if there's any chance that we could reduce that significantly, because I think that the common driveway was included in that bond, so it's probably right maybe to hold some of it. But perhaps the lion's share of that could be reduced.
yes, I did receive correspondence from the attorney for that project.
Yeah, Bob
So-
Collins, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So they are now asking for complete return of the subdivision bond. So not a reduction, but
Oh, okay, all right.
but because just a release of the bond because it is complete. So I'll when I reach out to Niche to poke them on the common drive, I can let them know that we need the whole subdivision reviewed as well.
I think the subdivision shouldn't be reviewed anymore because the town now owns that.
Yeah, I think that would have been.
If there's any last items, yeah.
I don't know the
Yeah.
mechanism for which we would do that because it's now town owned right away. So, But
Yeah,
the,
well, I guess it's a bond review.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I'd love to get this wrapped up,
Yep.
well,
you know, at our next meeting, so.
I just think in virtue of the fact that the town accepted the street should mean that the street was acceptable and that the activities that were wrapped up in the bond were completed. I mean, I don't know. But
Yes.
no, I appreciate that it's still ongoing. The contractor would really like to just go out there and clean up the last minor punch list items on the common driveway and get out of there, but he doesn't want to mobilize until we are sure what that list is. So yeah, I appreciate any effort you have that you can poke niche. That would be great.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think in the past, it seems like the board has asked for a clean letter from the engineer prior to release. So I'll poke them and hopefully we can get, I can reserve some time on our next agenda to see if we can have a vote then.
Okay, fair enough.
Yep, and I guess if there, you know, if there's a holdup on that, at least getting the bond reduction in place, so, okay.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Yep, thanks.
Thank
Talk to you
you.
later. Okay, deliberate and vote detached accessory apartment special permit, 155 North Road. You have the draft decision here. Well, I think you just attached that late today, so we haven't had a chance to really.
I doubt, yeah, I just attached about half an hour before the meeting started, so so we can, I mean, we can review it today, we can postpone, you know, but whatever you're comfortable with.
I think we were pretty, comfortable with the, the development or the attached apartment in general. If you want to just run through the key points, I think that's fine.
All right, let me find this. I'm sorry, I'm not ignoring you all. I just have two screens today.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, are you all seeing the first page of the decision here?
Not yet.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, there it is.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. All right. So there were just a few comments in here that I had. Let me take a look through. The highlighted dates are all just based on today's date to see if we're approving today or not. It's just all the procedural elements. The criteria for special permit based off of the new zoning bylaw. Tell me if I'm going a little too fast.
That's fine.
The findings, based on the, they're proposing to convert the existing detached accessory structure. A little bit about how it, they had done some work on the unit prior to becoming aware of the lack of a bylaw in town allowing it, and then waited for town meeting to vote in the bylaw before proceeding. So we're noting a few things in the findings are just to show that the application is in line with the zoning bylaw. So it's conforms to the residential character of the neighborhood. There are no exterior alterations to the structure, that it's acceptable that the floor area is 1,500 square feet because it was a structure that was in existence prior to town meeting. There's not going to be an additional driveway because it's already serviced by the existing driveway. And then the Board of Health had requested the deed restriction on as a 4-bedroom capacity on that septic tank, which since the public hearing, the applicant has already provided me with, but just for completeness sake, I included it as well because we didn't have it at the time of the public hearing. Why did I highlight this one? Oh yes, so it says, the bylaw says that under just accessory apartments in general, that there shall be a maximum of one accessory apartment per residence. I wondered if I'm interpreting that correctly, in that it means if there is a detached accessory apartment, that there's not allowed to be an attached accessory apartment as well. Is that correct?
That would be my interpretation, yes.
Okay. Anyone else disagree?
Well, it doesn't say detached or attached, so I think it's probably either or, I would guess.
Either or, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll leave that in there then. So then not allowing it to be used for temporary rentals. So this is the, not being allowed to use it for an Airbnb, for example. Must be owner occupied. Adequate parking. Again, the 4-bedroom deed restriction. These are all pretty boilerplate. So no, any exterior lighting needs to comply. Building inspector needs to make sure there's safe ingress and egress, and that the whole structure needs to comply with state and local Board of Health requirements and wetland bylaws. I think that was it.
Ship it. Looks good.
Yeah, any other questions? I only provided this to the applicant just prior to the, or during the meeting, actually. So I don't know if there are any other questions.
No, I think it looks okay. I mean, should be pretty straightforward. It was a pretty straightforward hearing, so. Anybody else?
Nope.
We luckily
Okay.
have the same exact members that we had for that public hearing, so.
Okay, excellent. Good.
Make a motion. So just a motion to approve this. So we're doing.
Yep.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the decision, or, all right, could you go to the topic, Valerie?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the special permit findings and decision for 155 North Road for a detached accessory apartment.
Okay.
And then all in favor, Pete Driscoll,
Aye.
Eric Neeland,
Aye.
Jim Barr,
Aye.
and Mark Sprague.
Aye.
All right, so I will get this to, I'll put this in the Dropbox over the weekend, so you all can come in and sign it. And then I'll be, just so Paul is aware, I will then file it with the town clerk, and that will start the 20-day appeal period, after which I will be able to notify you that the decision is certified and ready to be picked up and recorded, as long as there are no appeals of the decision that have come in.
We'll have the A&R to sign too, right?
Yes, thank you. I will put, I'll get both of those in. I'll send you all an email when it's in there, so you're not making trips to town hall that you don't need to make.
Okay.
Well, thanks, Valerie. After the 21-day period or the 20-day period is over, assuming that's the point at which you click the box in the building permit process.
Right, exactly. So as soon as you have an original copy of the decision with all the signatures and the stamps from the town clerk, then I can go ahead and approve the, I don't know what kind of permit it is. Is it an occupancy permit at this point, or is it building? It might be building.
My understanding is it's a building permit, and as soon as you can, as soon as you click off the box, then Mike Savageau,
And he knows.
has done all of his other things, so he'll sign the occupancy permit.
Okay, so it'll move pretty quickly once at that point.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, well, thank you, planning board.
Okay, great. Thanks. Good luck. Okay, And then last item on the agenda, if we want to do it tonight, is town meeting articles.
So I did not do my homework here. I know the board had asked me to put together a list. I don't have a list. But I think it'll be good to at our next meeting to talk about zoning districts and also other items.
Yeah, you can add overlay. potential
Yeah,
Overlay to that.
Yep.
that sounds good.
Okay.
And fast food and drive-throughs. Nah, never mind.
Yeah, I think that you're gonna get a
Eric,
lot
you
of.
can get up and do those ones.
I
You're the
think you're gonna
chairman.
get a lot of climate change and sustainability minded folks out in droves,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight that fight this year.
It's good. I like having the hard conversations. It's fun. All right. Well, I can put something together for our next meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds good. Hopefully
Well, I
there's a
know-
little less on it than tonight, so.
Sorry for making you guys wait. I didn't realize the meeting was holding up for me. I knew I was going to be a little bit late. I don't know if you guys are just waiting around. Sorry about that.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't. Don't worry about it. We had multiple others. So
No worries.
Okay.
is anyone, I did want to know if anyone here, I know Mark can't make it, but is anyone else planning to come to the public forum?
Yeah,
On
I don't think
Sunday?
I can make it, unfortunately. I do want to go, but there are future ones, right?
Yes, there will be. We'll have more topic focused meetings in the future. So this one's
Yeah.
just kind of a more broad one to start.
I definitely wanted to go, but we had plans on Sunday, unfortunately. I mean, do you have like people like an RSVP? Like, do you have a lot of people that are looking to come, or?
I know that it was difficult to schedule it, because of kids' sports.
Well, that's the
Yes.
thing. It's like,
Yeah.
there's so much going on in the weekend in the fall. I know
Yeah, so I think we're having some
Stasha
trouble.
contacted me and I was like, fall on the weekends is really hard.
Yeah.
Winter
Yeah,
would be
so-
easier, I think.
What would?
I said winter would probably be
Winter.
easier. There's less going on. But I know
What's
like
going on? Yeah.
there's like last weekend, if you look on Community, like half the town was running around Massachusetts for soccer tournaments and stuff. It's just tough. Well, I guess the family, kids, people with kids and stuff. But so I guess what I told Stasha was it would be good to vary the times and try to hit different people, different
Yeah, I think you're right.
schedules.
Yeah, we talked about maybe doing one during the midweek. We also could choose to do virtual forums in the future too, which could make it easier, even if it's
Yeah. I think the
during a
virtual
busy
is great.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we'll
I
see
think
about
you-
varying.
Yeah, it's tough. It's just tough to get. I think what I'm worried about with the master plan is losing the family like kind of voice, and it's people who have more free time to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I worry about that, losing that perspective.
Yeah.
So just any way to make it easy for people with families to attend, I think is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay. Well, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
Was that a long enough meeting?
Yeah. So moved.
I've done worse on Board of Health, but that's
Oh.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Bye.
All in favor?
Yes, we're in favor.
Yeah.
well, all in favor.
All right. Thank you all. I really appreciate it. Have a good
Thanks. We'll
night.
talk to you soon.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.